Good morning YouTube, and today we have, or this morning, we have the reveal for the final archetype in the brand new deck builder set, and this one is the Labrynths. Now of all the three archetypes, I think we've had the Valiants, and I'm not too sure of the exact name of the other ones, but the other ones is like the first person one where you can play the spells from the hand and kind of deck your opponent out. The Valiants are kind of like a pendulum based deck, and then the Labrynths are a trap based deck. So let's crack on, and if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any more news updates, and make sure you smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. Moving on to the first card, we do have Labyrinth of the Silver Palace. It is a level 8 Dark Fiend effect monster with 2900 attack and 1900 defense, and you can only use the second and third effect of this card's name once per turn. If your opponent cannot activate monster effect, your opponent cannot activate monster effects in response to the activation of your normal trap card. So that's pretty cool. You can target one normal trap in your graveyard, set it on the field, but it cannot be activated unless you control a Fiend monster. If a monster or monsters leaves the field by your normal trap card effect, you can destroy one card your opponent controls or one random card in a hand. So basically Compulse then becomes a bounce one, pop one, which is kind of cool. Then we've got this one which looks pretty badass. I like the look of this. So this one is called Labyrinth Archfiend, shocker. 2000 attack, 2800 defense, level 7 Dark Fiend effect. Only use the first and second effect once per turn. If a trap card is activated, you can special summon this card from the hand. That's pretty cool because it's obviously a nice way of getting the bigger monsters out of your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can set one normal trap card that activates only when an attack is declared directly from your deck to your field. So you can basically set magical cylinders, mirror forces, stuff like that, which is really cool. It's just a shame that in today's day and age, it's rare that set cards even make it to the battle phase, let alone the fact that you're going to have a set mirror force that your opponent knows about. So, yeah, it's kind of specific, but it would have been nice if it was just a normal trap card, but is what it is. Gains 400 attack for each normal trap card with different names in your graveyard. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target theme monsters you control for attacks except Labyrinth Archfiend. Now, it would have been better if it said monsters your opponent controls cannot target trap cards you control, because again it protects, the idea would be that it protects that mirror force. So it's like your opponent always then needs to be a bit more defensive, whereas because they know what it is, obviously it's not just mirror force, you can settle the other stuff, but I mean what I'm saying is when you're relying on something to get to a battle phase, even without them knowing what it is, it's very rare that they let traps survive that long, and that's why you don't see like mirror forces in the modern game right now. And then we've got Labyrinth Servant Arena. Level 4 Dark Fiend, 1600 attack, 2100 defense. Only use use one of the first and second effects of this card's name per turn, and only once that turn. So if it is normal or special, you get to add a Labyrinth card from your deck to your hand, which is really cool. If a monster or monsters leaves the field by your normal trap card's effect, you can draw one card, then you can special summon one Fiend monster or set one spell or trap from your hand. So again, using Compulse as an example, because they do use Compulse at the end of this article, your Compulse then becomes a bounce one, summon one, bounce one, draw one, summon one, which is really, really important. So you can kind of see where Compulse is getting quite important for this. And then we've got Labyrinth Chandra. 1500 attack, level 3 Dark Fiend. Only use the first and second once per turn. Quick effect, you can send this card from the hand or field to the graveyard and discard one card to set a Labyrinth spell or trap from your hand or deck to your field. If a monster or monsters leaves the field by your normal trap effect, while this card is in your graveyard, you can add it back to your hand. Again, resulting to the Compulse, it basically allows you to maintain resource. Now, I'm only using Compulse because obviously it is the most, basic trap card you can think of. You've obviously got stuff like Torrential as well. Labyrinth Stove, Interesting. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Quick effect, you can send this card from the hand or field to the graveyard to discard a card and set a Labyrinth spell or trap from your hand or deck to your field. If a monster or monsters leaves the field by your normal trap card while this card is in the graveyard, you get to special summon it, and it's got a nice 2000 booty. Labyrinth Kuklok. So you can only use the first and second effect once per turn. It's got the quick effect again to discard this card. While you control a Labyrinth monster, you can activate one normal trap card the turn it was set, but you have to control a Labyrinth monster. If you send a card or cards from your hand to the graveyard to activate a Labyrinth card's effect, except itself, or a normal trap card while this card is in the graveyard, you can either add this card to the hand or special summon it. So that's kind of cool. Again, maintain resource. And then we get onto the spells. So the field spell looks absolutely awesome. Its effects are kind of interesting as well. So you can only use the first and second effect once per turn. If you activate a set Welcome Labyrinth normal trap card, you can add this additional effect to it. You get to destroy one card on the field. If you activate a non-Labyrinth normal trap card, you can special summon one Fiend monster from your hand or graveyard. Again, really important, because then your Compulse becomes a summon one as well. And off the back of that, you're then able to get into your bigger boss monsters, which is kind of cool. Labyrinth Setting, which is a quick play spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target 2 of your Labyrinth spells and traps that are banished and or in the graveyard except itself. Shuffle them into the deck. Then if you control a Fiend monster, you can set non-Labyrinth normal traps from your with different names from each other directly from your deck equal to the number of cards shuffled, which is really, really cool, because then it basically means I think the only issue is that it needs to target 2 Labyrinth spells and traps. So it means you can't really burn through your normals, but then you can basically reset or set a Compulse, a Trap Trick, a Ice Dragon's Prison, Torrential, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got Labyrinth Welcome. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Special summon one Labyrinth monster from your deck, but you cannot special summon monsters from the deck and extra deck until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, except Fiends. If a monster or monsters leaves the field by your normal trap card effect while this card is in the graveyard, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you get to set this back to the field. So that's kind of cool. Recurves. Fair Welcome Labyrinth. When a monster declares an attack, if you control a Fiend monster, target one card on the field, negate that attack, and if you do, destroy that target. Then you can set one non-Labyrinth normal trap from your hand or deck to the field. Labyrinth Barrage. When you activate a set normal trap card except Barrage, your opponent takes no further damage from your card effects until the end of their next turn after this card resolves. Also, this card's effect becomes that normal trap card's effect while that card is activated. So when you activate a set normal trap card except itself, your opponent takes no further battle damage from that card effect until the end of the turn. After this card resolves, also this card's effect becomes that normal trap card's effect when that card is activated. So basically you get a double Compulse or you can get a double IDPs, which is interesting, but I don't know. The fact that it stops your opponent saying, well, it doesn't matter about damage really. And then of course the last one is Archfiend Glitch. So normal trap card, if you control a Fiend monster, target one card on the field, destroy it. Then you can send one Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard, which again is really important because some of the cards let you bring back a Fiend monster from the graveyard, so that's how you consistently get to your big boss monsters without having to run freeze of them. And then obviously right at the bottom you can see that you've got Compulse. And there are darks as well, so Allure of Darkness is a thing. As we have finished that, that's it for the archetype, but I will take a mention to the new Labrynths Lady of Lambent. So this is a card that was revealed yesterday, or the effect was revealed yesterday, and you get to target 3 or 6 of your normal track cards that are banished and or in the grave. Place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, then draw 1 card for every 3 cards placed. If another monster or monsters is tributed, or a normal trap or traps is in your possession is sent to your graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you get to target 1 normal trap in your graveyard and set it on the field. Only use the effect once per turn. So obviously we've now got Labrynths and we've got Lilith. So the idea is that Labrynths gives you recurability for all of the trap cards you're going to be burning through, and Lilith will be able to set you your normal trap cards. So I think the archetype itself is very interesting. It'll be cool to see how much more it does. I think reading this through a second time, it seems a lot better than I initially thought. And when you're comparing it to Valiance, which pretty much relate to the pendulum zones and columns and stuff like that. I think a lot of people quite like the middle archetype, the one that's kind of like Skyrim, where it's first person, activate spells from the hand kind of thing. But I'm personally not too fussed on that one, because I think it's it only has one win con, which is like mill your opponent out. I don't think any of them are right now meta defining. Like, they're not on the levels again of stuff like Sky Strikers, the Brave Engine, anything like that at this moment in time. It will wait to be seen what the OCG does with them. But I still think the archetype's pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see what happens from it, and kind of go from there. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe and happy dueling.